Happy game day to you too, and you're right, it is no secret the Panthers defense has been decimated by injuries. Al, is all hope lost here, or is there something they can do to turn this around?
All they can do, Mike, is to continue to keep fighting, continue to keep battling. Man, it is tough to watch bodies go down and this team not respond the way we thought for Giro Avero's defense, but the only hope you have is to go out there and continue to fight each and every Sunday.
All right, so there is one big glaring problem right now for Carolina, and it is trying to figure out how to keep points off the board completely. It has been a challenge this season, and not even defensive coordinator Giro Avero is denying that. Now, you do have to consider one big factor, and while you don't want to make an excuse, season-ending injuries have been a big part of poor play. Still, though, bad is bad. Carolina currently sits last in the NFL in points allowed and fourth to last in yards allowed. On top of that, they are currently on pace to give up the most points in NFL history. Amazingly, though, through everything, the confidence of one Dave Canales has not wavered.
Yeah, just checking in. I have full confidence in our defensive staff and group to be able to teach our principles. And so for me, it's just about watching the film and then just check.
All right, factoring everything, it is going to be really hard to tell what Panthers defense will show up today, but the rankings don't really show any love to Carolina. Total defense is ranked 29th, passing defense is 23rd. They are 30th in rushing defense. Also, they're dead last in points allowed, and that includes most TDs given up in the league with 24. Despite a decent day last week in the red zone, that defense is still second to last in giving up points in 75% of trips opposing offenses take. Canales said it best, third downs are a major problem. His team is 30th in the league on letting teams convert on the money down at 47%. Al, interesting, J.C. Horn said the third down problem is a mental thing. What do you think?
I think it's a talent thing. I think it's a bodies that this team needs, right? You need those players to be able to go out and execute. The X's and O's are good. Giro Avero, I don't worry about him. I think he's one of the more well-respected coordinators in the NFL. Only two stats matter. It's third down, can you get off the field, and it's points allowed. This team is dead last in points allowed. Any NFL coach, any defensive coach will tell you that's the only stat that matters. You can give up 1,000 yards, but we can't give up points. We got to turn teams away.
Okay, so you say talent. Not to throw any salt in the wounds here, but if, say, Derek Brown and Shaq Thompson were playing, how much of these problems would be corrected?
I think you would see a better run defense. Derek Brown, 103 tackles last year, a guy that's going to hold down the middle of the field with the veteran Shaq Thompson. It would be better run, but there's no pass rush. There's no turnovers. There's no way to create opportunities for the offense. And I think when you have those issues, those problems on the defensive side, it's going to be bad, and teams are going to put points on the board.
Last question, talking about Jaden Daniels. They played Caleb Williams 2 weeks ago. How do those two rookie quarterbacks compare?
They both move around, but Jaden Daniels is different. He wants to run the ball. He's going to take off. He's going to try to pick up yards with his legs.
Well, it'll certainly be interesting to watch, and the guys who will be doing it firsthand are standing by. Gabe and Carla, we'll go back to you up north. Oh, you know it, you love it. It is time for this week's Play of the Game. We're going back to last week's loss against Atlanta, but this was a bright spot. Andy Dalton and Xavier Legette again for a corner fade. Check it out, Big XL's second rod on dollar bill. Al, what'd you see with this play here?
Oh, man, you just see a guy going up, and he's a bigger, better athlete, going to get the 50-50 ball, and the best celebration so far on the team, dollar bill.
Giddy up. Well, apparently XL isn't happy with just one TD a game these days. He has indicated he is gearing up a backup touchdown celebration too.
Oh, nah.
Now, obviously good to see that offensive hook up there, but this offense has got to be feeling a ton of pressure right now with the defense struggling as it is.
Yeah, you got to feel that Andy Dalton and the guys, the skill set guys, want to score on every possession. So it's going to be big that they convert a lot of those big passes, those big runs for touchdowns.
Well, this is the Xavier part of the show, talking about the defensive X now. We're going to do that. We're going to go back to Gabe and Carla. You have more on that.
That's right. The Panthers have an X and an XL. It's kind of hard to keep up with all the nicknames. But, yes, the defensive side of the ball, like we've already talked about.
I'm going after you.
You don't treat the shows here the same way. We're friends all the time.
All the time.
I like that.
We're all cool.
While we're on the subject going behind enemy lines, the Commanders have some guys on the defensive line who are banged up, and that might create more chances for Carolina to score and help its own defense out. Alex Flum takes us inside the Commanders facility. All right, so Greg Olsen will not be on the call for today's game in the conventional sense, but he can be if you select him in the options menu before you hit the start button. Now, that seems a little far-fetched, right?
It does. It absolutely does.
Well, in the real world it does, but in a different venture, it's all possible with a Panthers legend involved. Greg Olsen loves spending time with his family, but at this point, even he is starting to worry about overexposure.
I'm like, are you sick of me yet?
These days, it's actually a pretty fair question. You see, Olsen not only gets to see them at home, they get to see him when he's on TV calling games for Fox.
We think back all the way to week 1.
And now this year, there's yet another place where they can find him.
Tirico, Greg Olsen.
I go and coach my kids' teams, and all their buddies are like, Coach Greg, we heard your voice on Madden.
Yeah, I think you just have to give a lot of credit, of course, to the player themselves.
Given EA Sports' iconic catchphrase, you figured it was only a matter of time. Since it's in the game, the former Panther turned broadcaster naturally had to be in the game. But first, there was the lengthy matter of making that work.
He couldn't do anything right.
Started recording, last summer, knowing the game would come out just a couple months ago. So it was about a little over a year process of recording.
A little makeshift studio in South Park is where the magic happened. And there, it didn't take long before Olsen realized this new assignment was much different than his day job.
We just don't see him struggle to come down with catches like that.
There is a broadcasting of Madden rhythm and timing, and then there's a broadcasting in real life.
Once Olsen got the hang of it, he was locked in, recording line after line.
Sometimes there's just nowhere to go.
And situation after situation.
And we've seen the lead go back and forth.
Sacks, fumbles, every scenario you could ever imagine in a Madden football game, we have to cover.
If it sounds exhausting, you are right. But Olsen says it was also incredibly rewarding.
I watch my kids play it, and they get a kick out of it. And, they joke with me that when they do the game, they're not going to pick me as the broadcaster. I'm like, that's fine.
But if they can continue to get guys back.
He's got a good sense of humor as well as a good perspective. After all,
Not been able to get
they do hear his voice plenty.
a partner in Kevin and Pam who've been doing this for such a long time.
How about that? Al, what a thrill it is for you to be in bbkl real quick.
Yeah, I love it, man. Madden's one of the greatest franchises of all time. I got a signed copy by John Madden himself.
Well, bbkl is going to continue to roll on. Jatavion Sanders has taken on a bigger role of late with injuries, but he's facing his greatest test today. We'll tell you why when bbkl continues.
With the second pick in the 2024 NFL Draft,
Stop me if you've heard this one before.
the Washington Commanders select Jaden Daniels.
A franchise puts it all on a rookie quarterback to turn things around.
Back to pass, middle of the field, and it's intercepted.
While the Carolina project is still processing, Washington's version is the league's newest star.
Back out of Daniels with the keep.
Now that new hot shot is the Panthers' problem. It's one they have to solve today.
The guy's been playing great football.
Black and Blue Kickoff Live starts now.
About playing in this place, of course, that is Al Wallace. He is next to Mike Lissette. Happy game day, guys. Happy Sunday.
Happy game day, guys. And yes, we can see you both out there. You like that right there, little John Cena. Al, you have played your fair share of games in Washington. What is it like going and playing in that stadium?
I mean, it is an incredible fan base. They love their football, and they love nothing more than to have a good football team. Jaden Daniels brings that to this organization, and it's fun to watch that fan base get re-energized.
Well, folks, if the Panthers are going to shock the upstart Commanders, they are going to need his 3 keys to victory in this one. First up, Al, your first key, put pressure on the quarterback. They tried this against Caleb Williams. Didn't work out that well. Jaden Daniels, meanwhile, the front runner for Rookie of the Year, and he's in contention for winning the MVP. He's got a lot of wideouts to make that happen.
Yeah, this is all about Jaden Daniels, right? You want to make sure that you get pressure to this guy. You need to get the blitzes and make sure you get there. So Jaden Daniels is a guy that can beat you with his legs. He can also torch you with his arm. So many weapons on the outside. Terry McLaurin, the running backs. But Jaden Daniels is the key here, guys. You got to find a way to keep him contained, limit things, make him go to his second and third option. Don't let him get the quick game going.
It's funny you do mention the blitz. That's actually his second key. We know who's coming. Bobby Wagner and former Panthers Frankie Louvu and Jeremy Chin, who's been known to call his own number. It's a hard-hitting combo, folks, but also one that led up 404, 84 yards last week.
Yeah, this defense is going to bring people from all different places, Mike, and it's about Dan Quinn. He's very creative in how he utilizes his skilled guys all over the field. They can be on the edge. They can blitz up the middle in the A-gaps. Frankie Louvu is one of the best rushing linebackers in the NFL. We know that all too well. So today, for this offensive line, with a couple of missing pieces, Brady Christensen, we've heard from a lot today. You have to make sure you pick up the blitzes, communicate well, and not allow that pressure to get to Andy Dalton.
All right, so your third key is to get the tight ends going. This is something that has been a major problem, and we are looking at you, Ja'Tavion Sanders. Last couple of weeks have seen Washington expose the middle of the field. It is prime opportunity to get Sanders to get his wheels going.
Yeah, you got to get JT Sanders going in this football game. This is the guy that was brought in from the University of Texas to be that pass-catching tight end in the offense. You look around the NFL, really good offenses have really solid tight ends. The Panthers have a young one. He still has to learn the game, but if you can control the middle of this field, you're going to open up things for Deontay Johnson, Xavier Legette on the outside. So control the middle of the field, attack these linebackers with JT Sanders. The opportunity is now. You got to step up to the challenge.
The time is now. I like that. I like that, folks.
Miss that opportunity.
I'm gonna add one more key today. Don't get hurt. Panthers have too many people down and out. You'll hear more from that later on in the show during the injury report. Gabe and Carla, they were playing John Cena's music a second ago. Are they playing Hulk Hogan's now? He's a real American. You're in D.C.
I'd say the playlist has been pretty good. What do you think?
No, it's
Back on BBKL with today's injury report, and I am not kidding when I say we could barely fit all these names on this graphic. In all, 15 guys have an injury status ahead of today's kickoff. 8 have been officially ruled out. Outside linebacker Jadeveon Clowney hasn't been ruled out. He's doubtful, though, as he's battling a shoulder injury. The rest on this list are questionable, including wide receiver Deontay Johnson, but we do expect him to play. However, we actually have other good news in regards to injuries. Rookie running back Jonathan Brooks could come off the IR soon. His practice window is now open, and he has taken to the field with pads. Canales says it's a week-to-week thing, which is perfect because he's now got 4 weeks to activate him. The second-round pick out of Texas was the first running back off the board in this year's NFL draft. It is no secret the Panthers have been high on Brooks, but they're also very cautious with the ACL he tore at Texas. Brooks says he's blessed to be on the field again. However, he knows this is a touch-and-go type thing.
I mean, obviously there's still like some, I feel good. It's trying to get back into the groove.
So with Brooks' debut looming, does that mean someone else could be on the move? Not so fast, my friend. Multiple reports say the Panthers aren't looking to move Chuba Hubbard. Chuba, who has broken out this season in his last year of his rookie year. While it may be wise to get him more assets, the more likely case would be to try and trade Miles Sanders. But here's the big question. Is anyone willing to take his big contract? Al, if you're in Dan Morgan's position, what do you do here?
Yeah, I think Chuba Hubbard's an identity guy. He's a culture guy for this football team. And if I'm looking at this roster, I'm looking at Chuba as a necessary piece on the offense. Look around the NFL. Good teams have dual running back systems. And I think you can go and add Jonathan Brooks to Chuba Hubbard. And, man, you can cook with grease right there. I think Miles Sanders ends up being the guy that falls out of favor, and you can pick him up. It's not that much money when you look at it at the end of the day.
Morgan's definitely got a lot of decisions. But we have to take a decision, and that is a timeout. One last one, but when we return, Sportsbook's a little weird on today's game. Show the latest odds. And meanwhile, there is a new wrinkle to our Stone Cold picks. We'll explain why Gabe's undefeated streak is in danger. More BBKL next. All right, thanks, Ted. DraftKings Sportsbook providing today's odds, and it's a whopping 9.5 points for Carolina. Big-time underdogs today. We do expect that line to move a bit before kickoff this afternoon, but a spread wager either way pays out minus 110. Over-under sit at 51.5 with a slightly under favored there. A straight-up money line bet on Carolina upset pays nearly 3.5 to 1. Well, our producers love chaos, so starting this week for Stone Cold Picks, we're not just picking the Panthers game, but a bonus game of our choosing that will shake up the standings, especially for our undefeated Gabe McDonald. Al, you're going to lead us off. What you got today?
Yeah, too many injuries on the Carolina Panthers side, guys. I'm going to go with the Washington Commanders here. I like Jaden Daniels and what he's done at the quarterback position. Dynamic. He should be in the MVP conversation, but that football team on offense is going to be really, really good. I'm also going to go to Pittsburgh, and I'm going to pick the traveling circus. I'm going to go with the Jets today because I don't like it that the quarterback position is less stable than it should be. It should be Justin Fields' job, no question about it. But guys, I'm going to take the Jets because the Pittsburgh Steelers are breaking a rule.
I'm going Commanders, and opposite of Al, Steelers over Jets. Carla, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm going with all of the younger quarterbacks today. Jaden Daniels, of course, for the Commanders, and then I'm going with C.J. Stroud of the Texans. So feel pretty good about that.
All right, and I'm rolling with the Commanders as well, completing the sweep. But my bonus game, give me the Colts. Anthony Richardson getting his receivers back, Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce, and Josh Downs. I think the Colts get it done, and the Commanders as well. We'll see if I'm 8-0 by the end of the week.
We'll see if we're right. Of course, that's going to do it for us on Black and Blue Kickoff Live. That'll do it again for Mike Lissette, Al Wallace, Gabe McDonald. I'm Carla Gebhardt. We hope you enjoy all the early games coming your way, and of course the Panthers Commanders just after 4. Go Panthers.